Hello, my name is Adam Ray Briggs, or some of you may know me on the forums as Madder101. I have lots of jobs. I work for lots of shows there, primarily writing, but also as creator and executive producer, well, co-executive producer actually. But today, in my very first recording, I've chosen to talk about Beyond Nighthaven, which actually I created as a series, but specifically the script, The Gorn Conflict, Part 1, Exodus. Okay, so before we start properly, just a few notes. I'm actually recording this on a handheld dictaphone thing, so if the sound quality is not too good, then that's why. It's because my laptop doesn't have a microphone, and the one I actually have with it isn't very good. I'm not sure if it's that or the software, but it just sounds really bad quality. Secondly, I don't like hearing my own voice, so it's probably going to sound a bit off, or I'm going to sound a bit nervous, which is weird because there's no one else here. It's just me talking to a microphone, which I think is weird in its own way. Yeah. Also, because I'm recording into a dictaphone, there's probably not going to be a lot of editing of this, so it's pretty much live. As is. I mean, obviously, perhaps if my building set on fire, I may stop recording and Exodus, but which is also the name of the script I'm talking about. There's a nice connection. Yes, I may Exodus in that situation, but otherwise, you're going to hear everything I'm talking about. Yeah, so I think that's it. So basically, I'm just going to talk through the script. I'm not sure how many pages it is. It's not very long, 17 pages, so probably less than that with the credits page. So I'm just going to take you through step by step of what I did when I was writing, what I thought, and a few points, trivia points, things like that. I'll probably go off on a tangent because I tend to from time to time, but yeah, so if you have the file open in front of you, and you can follow me through. Right, okay, so here we go, starting the title page, obviously Beyond Nighthaven, a nice title there, created by Paul Weaver, who does all the artwork for Frontiers, and he does, I think he's done the normal Nighthaven title banner thing, and obviously he's done the ones for Frontiers, and he does the ones for my own Atlantis Chronicles, if you read that. And if you don't, why not? Because I worked hard on that, yes. And he did the Star's End one, the one used from Season 2 onwards was his work as well. Yeah, so yes, the Gorn Conflict 1, Exodus, I call it Part 1, but it's actually the Gorn Conflict 1, Exodus. So a very British style of doing episode titles. Kind of takes you. I mean, my inspiration for it really was that the 3 episodes are all part of the one script. So instead of being Part 1, Part 2, Part 3, because they're actually all the same story. It's just kind of like chapters within the same story. So I just used Roman numerals, 1, 2, 3, and then I give it a subtitle. Exodus for this one. I can't remember what the other 2 are called. Vendetta, and I don't think we've fully settled on a title for the last one yet, which, because as a recording it hasn't been released. It's been written, completely written, but not released yet. Yeah, so you can see it says written by Adam Murray Briggs, which is me, with contributions by Hagen McKagan, who is a guy I respect a hell of a lot, because he's basically one of the reasons I got into writing scripts in the first place, because I used to read Star Trek Renaissance back in the day when that was, I know it wasn't the first, but it was sort of the biggest most popular script-based online Star Trek thing, and he was one of the senior writers for that, or one of the key writers for that. And yeah, so a huge spectrum. I think I once said that he's like the Michael Piller of virtual Star Trek, which I'm sure he might like as a title. But basically, he did contribute to this script. I know he's now the co-executive producer of Night's Haven. I don't think he was at the time this was written, but basically his contribution to the script anyway is just the introduction sequence, which I'll talk about in a second. Well, right now, in fact, because I don't really need to tell you that it's edited by Phoebe Davis, or when it was released, or any of the legal stuff. So anyway, moving on to the first page of the script proper. Here we are, opening in space. This is like, even though it says space, it's actually one big optical shot that goes right down into the planet surface and through to the mountain at the end. But that would all be one CGI shot. But basically, the narration here, it says narrator. It's supposed to be done by Dominic Faltermeyer, who we'll get to in a minute. But he's supposed to be narrating this. And my inspiration for this was actually the opening narration to the 1996 Doctor Who, the movie, with Paul McGann as the 8th incarnation of the Doctor, my favourite. And he sort of does this very cool narration at the start of that, just setting the scene and everything. And that's the sort of voice I imagined for this work here. This is the only contribution that Keg made to the script. By the way, I'll be calling Hagen McKagan Keg because that's his internet name. But basically, he rewrote this because my original introduction was much longer and a lot more talky, and it had a different emphasis as well because it was more focused on the biological history of the Gorn rather than the cultural, sociological motivations that Keg gives us in his version here. It also, obviously, his version did cut it down slightly because it was running a bit long, and it was a bit wordy, especially for an introduction to a Night's Haven script. Because, as you know, Night's Haven doesn't like lots of exposition or lots of scientific talk or anything like that. So he cut this down, and this goes on for several pages. A note about the titles: the Gorn planet Gadar, and the other two that I mentioned later, Gaydar and something else. Gaydar is a very funny name, really, for a planet. It reminds me of Bender on Futurama. He's got his Gaydar to detect gay men from afar, which not sure how useful that would be, but so these planets were the names were actually taken from they weren't made up by me. They were taken from the Starfleet Battles universe, which I'm not sure if you'll know about it. You probably won't, but it was a game that was released, like a pen and paper role-playing sort of board game thing that was released in the 1980s, I believe. It's still going now. You can buy it still off the internet now. It's not as quote-unquote popular as it used to be, but I've never played it myself, but I know quite a lot about the background material through various sources. But anyway, the names are taken from that. The Gorn history there is significantly different to what's portrayed here and in the canon, Star Trek canon and other things. The Gorn is actually made up of 3 different races from 3 different planets who all sort of unify together.